Alright, so now this is a situation I don't think I'm going to be able to leave alone because I need answers. My mother needs answers. Kind of all of us need answers. So I am now going to basically, I'm going to have to make this a series because I need to try and push this out there as much as possible to get the answers. Now, I'm not saying that the answers need to be what I want them to be, but we need more clear answers. If you saw my last video, it was talking about how my father's disability was denied again after three, four appeals. Um, them initially just stating that he was not disabled enough to not work, which we all know is kind of BS considering the man passed away at 56 because of the issues he was having. Um, so personally, I think that right there is enough to say, hey, the man was not able to work. Like, simple as that. Um, so my mom did comment on one of the posts that I put up. So this is just a quick synopsis of what my dad has gone through. I already called my mother, spoke with her on the phone, and said, "Listen, I want all the info on this case. What you guys had sent in to the lawyer, everything like that, because something's just not adding up here." And for me, in the past, with everything, whenever I've had that weird feeling of something just ain't right, um, it's usually I was correct. And so, quick synopsis of what my father had for a disability, which we feel was more than burden of proof that he can't be working. Okay, so what my mother commented is, um, she's trying to remember if it was two or three appeals, but after two or three appeals, they then got the disability lawyer who identified mistakes just on the first page of everything alone. And this was brought to the federal level. Brand new federal judge that was assigned to it, and he denied it. Now, I'm not saying this is what he did, but this is what it kind of feels like, that he more made a judgment on his opinion than the facts and the evidence, which, listen, I'm not a judge. Never claimed to be. I'm not a lawyer either. But I do have family members who have been judges, lawyers, everything like that. And even if they personally felt a certain way, they always made sure they based their judgment off of facts and evidence. And in this case, it does not seem like it was based off of facts or evidence, because if it was, it should have been approved. So here's the health issues here that were related with my father. Um, 18 heart-related surgeries. Um, Multiple of those were open heart. And I know there are at least three or four since I was born. So I remember sitting at home wondering how dad's doing, going to the hospital. I mean, we are a family that is no stranger to hospitals because of my father. He had two TIAs, which, if you don't know what a TIA is, it's basically a step below a stroke. It's like a stroke, but it's not a full on. It's pretty much that level right before it's considered a full on CVA, which is a stroke. Two TIAs. He had a C4, C5, and a C6 replacement in his neck. And then, among other complications in the hospital due to these different surgeries, what actually ended up taking my father from us was an infection that he got. And we're trying to this day, we're still trying to figure out where this infection came from, because it's blowing our mind. I mean, it attached to his pacemaker. It basically took over his body, and that's ultimately what ended up taking him from us. And they still deemed that he was healthy enough to work. I can tell you from my personal experience of being with my father, me and my father were very close, that he was not well enough to work whatsoever. And I would be honest with him if he was well enough and be like, all right, you're just being lazy, old man. You just want to fish all day. Like, you can't do that. You got to go to work. But he truly was not um, fit to hold a job because after having those TIAs and everything, his memory was starting to kind of slip a little bit. He would forget things. Now, this is something I never told my mom because me and him also had that trust with each other, but also at the same time, I did state to him, Dad, if this gets any worse, I'm gonna have to let Mom know because this can't be happening. He called me when I was at work one day, and he goes, "Hey, what's my address?" Sorry, what? He's like, "What's my address?" He's like, I got a GPS how to get home. Now, granted, they had just recently moved down here, so naturally I'm thinking, okay, he's in an area, he went out for a drive, got lost, and he's like, oh crap, I don't know how to get back to the house. And I could probably understand him not remembering an address because they had lived at the same address up north for years, and he didn't have to think about it. But now he's in a whole new state, a whole new town, everything. So I could understand him going, oh shit, what's my new address? I've done it before too, and I'm only 32 years old when I've moved. So I told him, and then I found out he wasn't anywhere that he hasn't been before. He was at Fisherman's Landing, which is where he used to go every morning to toss in a line. He knew how to get there. He knew how to get home. So this wasn't a place that was off to him. He knew how to get back and forth. And that's when I realized this is getting bad. He doesn't remember how to get home when he's at a place he goes to every day. And he was like, don't tell mom, don't tell mom, don't tell mom. I'm like, Dad, really? He's like, no. He's like, just, and then he was like, oh yeah. And he's like, no, I'm good, I'm right. He's like, I just had a blank moment. And I'm like, well, you call me when you get back to the house because I know it only takes you maybe 10, 15 minutes to get back to the house from Fisherman's Landing. So if you don't call me in at least 20 minutes, I'm giving mom a call. Thank God he called me within 15 minutes. He's like, yeah, I'm home. All right, cool. So that's just one quick story of, yeah, no, he can't be working because he can't even remember stuff like that. So my main thing is I want to get everything together from this case. Go through everything with a fine tooth and a comb. And try and find somewhere in there of what is the reason why that they denied this. Did they just look over it and go, oh, and I don't know. I truly don't know, and that's why I'm doing this, because I want to figure this out. I spoke with my mother on the phone about getting all this together. I was like, hey, can you send me this? And she goes, listen, it's a lot. She's like, you might just want to come over here and we could look through it because it's going to be a lot to send. It is a thick folder of information. So, all right, we're going to be taking that trip over to my mom's house and we're going to go through this because I want to figure out what we had in there exactly for the proof and the info of he's disabled and can't work. I want to see what their claims were of why they say he could work, because one of the times they're like, well, he's well enough to work. Well, he can't do what he was doing before. He's a school bus driver. He's now had neck surgeries, TIAs, everything like that. His memory's starting to slip. There's no way he can be a school bus driver. That's not safe for him or the children on the school bus. He really can't stand for a while either. He's weak, everything like that. So if you feel that it is okay for him to work, can you please tell us at least what you think he can do so that that can be done? And we could never get an answer. So that's something I don't feel is right either, that if you're sitting there claiming that yes, he can work, you should at least be able to give us an answer of, yeah, he can work doing this kind of stuff. All right, cool. If that's the case, we'll go out and find him something like that where he is able to, in his condition, to do. But we couldn't get that answer. So my thing is, like I said at the beginning, even if these aren't the answers that I want, of, hey, you guys have to approve this because this is 3, almost 4 years worth of back pay that my parents really could have used to get through and get bills paid and everything like that. Like, I would love that to be the answer, but at the same time, I just want tangible answers to where, oh, okay, I get why you came to this judgment, and I'll accept it. But I'm not going to accept, like, just denied. No, he can work. Because judging off of the proof we have, and considering the man is now dead at the age of 56, that alone is enough to say, yeah, this man was not well enough to work. So I'm going to be investigating this and coming in from ground one. Just ground zero. Sorry, not ground one. Ground zero. I'm going to build a foundation, do the research, build everything back up. Now, granted, it's going to be tough to even file another appeal again since he is already gone. But there's got to be something some kind of avenue, direction that we can take to get these answers. I want to look into people that we can talk to that have maybe dealt with these kind of cases before. I mean, even the lawyer that my parents did have was like, I've been doing this for years and have never seen anything like this, of them denying it with the amount of stuff you even had on the first page and it get denied. She's like, I'm mind blown. She's like, I've had people get approved for way less than what is on your father's list here. So I want to see if is there anybody who has dealt with cases like this before where it was a denial that made no sense. Anybody who maybe has an in of what the court's processes are for this and the reasonings behind it, everything like that. I'm not gonna lay down on this one. I'm not. I mean, I'm gonna push this to either we get some kind of answer or somebody smacking me with a cease and desist. But even at that point, I think I might try and keep pushing, because usually when a court smacks a cease and desist on somebody, or another lawyer smacks a cease and desist on somebody for something like this, it means you're getting too close to something about to be exposed, and we have to stop that to protect somebody's tail feathers. So I'm willing to keep this fight going and figure this out. And like I said, like, I don't want to come at this aggressive and be an asshole about it. I want to come at this from strictly a point of, I want to not only educate myself, I want to educate anybody else who may be in the situation as well, of what are steps you need to take. What can you do to avoid this situation from happening to you and your family? So I'm doing just basic groundwork right now. I'm just basic stuff, just Googling random stuff. Like, I mean, so simple of, hey, what kind of judges handle disability cases? Why would a judge deny disability even when there's evidence? I mean, what factors can courts put into play to deny disability? I'm talking, I am breaking this down to the dumb stuff to make sure that I have a good foundation, because you're not going to have a strong house without a strong foundation. So I want to make sure I have this good foundation. And if any of you, like I said, know anybody who has dealt with this before, know who I could go to next to talk to, and I mean, I would love to be able to, even if it's not the direct judge that handled this case, even if I was able to talk to a judge that does handle this, to kind of pick their brain a little bit. Now, I understand there is certain things that judges can't talk about. They can't say anything like that, but I feel in a situation like this where it's just kind of a broad, like, hey, what are the different factors? What are the different things that come into play here? I mean, just for everybody's knowledge on this, because I feel that everybody should know what to do in these cases because it could happen to any of us. I'm good and healthy right now, but something could happen to where I can't work anymore and I need this. I mean, Joe Schmo across the way working for the other company. He's young, he's good, he could get hurt and not able to work. So this is more of kind of I want to figure this out not only for us, but I kind of want to figure it out for just the general population because I feel that these are certain things that everybody should know about. And it sucks when you kind of get side tackled and out of nowhere and don't know what to do next. So follow me along with this. I'd love to see a good following of people here. I want to kind of build that community where everybody's helping everybody and we can just not only do this for, like I said, not only for my mother and try and get what they should have gotten for the past 3 to 4 years, but also to make sure you guys are armed because knowledge is power. So I'm going to leave that here. Anybody has information, is willing to help out, anything like that, just leave a comment below. Send me a DM, anything like that, and we'll see what we can do with this. So until then, I love y'all. Have a wonderful weekend. It is Friday, so enjoy it. Make sure you make it back to work on Monday. Love y'all. Peace.